Association in town. But of course, what is happening in here is that the central bank rate increased by 0.5%. That is up from 9.5% to 10%. But of course, this is due to the record of inflation, because we saw that according to the February results, we saw the headline and the core inflation increase from 2.8% to about 3.4%. And of course, there has been quite a number of underlying factors contributing to this. And also the fact that we have seen quite a number of people withdrawing dollars from the country, from the country's coffers, and being taken out of that. And that has been responsible for the weakening shilling of the country. Of course, trading to up to about 3,900. And this in 2020, when it also traded to that line. Because there is a projection, at least by mid-2024, the inflation rate shouldn't go beyond 5%, but it's likely to actually head there if the status quo is maintained, if nothing is done about the central bank rate. So definitely this means there is increasing costs when it comes to borrowing, in terms of commercial banks now charging high interest rates. But now this means a lot to the business community, most especially traders, because they are proponent of operating on loans. Mr. Kobi Hamza, a very good morning, and seeing the situation at hand currently.
A very good morning to the viewers of Smart 24, and Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to all the Muslims that are having their fasting season. And I'm always very glad to be on 24 Smart and bringing issues pertaining the economic affairs of this country. It's really a great chance that we can take for granted. Well, as we are realizing that the economy is not doing well, I think everything is projected in the negative manner.
Exactly.
Absolutely. It's like, the economics is not really, as expected.
Yes,
we're having experts and they are really giving us the confidence. But as they project, I think things go, get otherwise and all that.
Exactly.
The inflation, and as we thought it was being managed right from the other point of COVID, it's a little bit, there are still challenges. And then when it comes to the business community, that is supposed to play a key role as the fulcrum of the economy, then they are heading for doom. Exactly. And looking at the central bank deciding, sitting 3 times to decide if really they can increase the bank rates. I was reading about how their boss decided. They sat 3 times, and then they had this virtual meeting, and then they were like, no, I think we should do something, because the shilling was dropping against the dollar. Yes. I think the lowest of all times.
3,900.
Exactly. Getting to almost to.
It last happened 4 years back when we were almost reaching this.
Exactly. Yeah. Now look at people that are paying buildings in dollars.
Yes.
And look at traders that are really supposed to get on the plane and then go off shores and then do the business and import and all that. It's really going to become very hard, because at the end of the day they are operating in a shilling that is low, and then purchasing commodities abroad in dollars. So as they convert, they really find a little bit hard. And anyway, how is the market really going to respond towards the traders, merchandise, where they've increased tremendously without a great reason to, probably because they themselves also sustainability is a problem. So we are heading for doom.
Now, of course, you've mentioned something in line with that. Now, the credit perspective here, because now, to me, it brings me at a point for any trader out there to prioritize when it comes to having direction of investment. Now, as a spokesperson of a trade association, I know you have been interacting with the different traders. You know what is really moving as we speak right about now, because now, I think now people are getting loans at 30%.
That's true. Well, 29,
30%, because now, since it's at 0.5.
Exactly. So, yes.
So we're talking about that. You've borrowed this money. This is hard, and you've borrowed this money, this interest rate. You need to make sure that there is return on investment at the end of the day. So let's take a look at investment direction for the traders in such a time.
Well, I think it's, not I think, absolutely, it's really very hard.
Yeah.
Because third world countries will have a challenge, and the challenge will always be on how the financial issues are really handled. Because just imagine getting 1 million and then you're supposed to return 1.3, and then that is not in consideration of the loan process and all that. Because I want to assure you, we usually find if they say it's 10%, if it is 30%, you'll find that actually you've got the loan at 35%. Let's say maybe your mortgage, your security is a house, is land and all that. And then you walk into the bank, they'll tell you, okay, 30%, that's very true. But I want to assure you the due, process, the due diligence,
yes.
of probably, fact findings about the property you're giving in as security. I want to assure you pay all for that process, search fee, blah, 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 and all that, loan application and all that. By the time you really get to the other, point of the loan is here and it's 30%. The money that you have cooked around there is really too much. At the end of the day, the loan itself is very expensive. Look at look at China, which gives a loan at around 1%, 2%.
2%, yes.
Exactly. So you're not going to compete with the Chinese investor in this country. Absolutely. You got a loan from Exim Bank at 2%, at 3%. You are competing and all that. So therefore, for the traders, it's likely really going to be very hard, and very soon, as before, you're going to see a lot of property on sale by the banks and all that.
Property on sale.
Exactly, whereby do you remember COVID? COVID, we had hundreds and hundreds of buildings whereby people losing out their structures and all that property. Look at Simba Manyo. At the end of the day, he passed on, and then his building was, it was sold off, by the bank. So at the end of the day, I would advise traders to go on, carefully and all that, live within the situation and all that. So they need really, to probably get on reality. You understand? Because at the end of the day, we set our living. It's you either live in illusion or you either live as the best on reality.
Based on reality.
So what are you as a trader and all that? Can you really fit in within the situation and all that? Okay, if you project and you're getting a loan at 30%, do you really see that you can really pay back in 2 years and all that? Yeah. I'm not trying to scare. I'm not becoming a scarecrow, but I'm looking at reality. The way after COVID, traders, most of them relocated to the outskirts of Kampala. When you look at the outskirts of Kampala, got filled, within COVID and after COVID. They realized most of them, they could not maintain the city. It was very expensive, the CBD, because CBD has the most expensive shops.
Absolutely.
So they crossed. I thank them that those who do not manage, they crossed. I understand that.
Exactly.
They crossed to the other side. Now, if we are to get into banking related issues which are not favorable, they should also think out of the box to fit in within the situation. Because right now, traders are on the move of pushing the government to manage their foreign investors. It is so funny whereby a foreign investor comes in this country, is given all the incentives or tax holidays, blah blah and all that. Then at the end of the day, the trader takes all the benefits,
the profits.
Is on the chain of production.
Oh yes.
He takes it all. He's on extraction, he's on manufacturing,
exactly.
He's on supply. He has even gone to retail. You see, this is the chain.
So in every stage of production,
exactly,
is benefiting from that.
Exactly. So what we're trying to tell the government should probably reserve certain kind of chains which should be a benefit, which should be benefited by the locals. Otherwise, at the end of the day, we are going to find the locals probably get phased out of the economic play, which is very wrong. Because if the Chinese, I'm sorry to use the Chinese, I'm not.
Of course,
because they are our big foreign investors. If the Chinese is the one manufacturing, is the one distributing, is the one is
retailing. Yes.
Then where is the local? Where is the local?
Okay.
Remember now, we are dealing with two societies. Much as the Chinese are in Uganda, but they are operating on the financial dynamics and the banking, dynamics of China. Yes. For him, he has a loan at 2%.
Yeah.
And this trader of Uganda is operating at 30%.
Yeah.
You understand? And this one of 2%, you have given him to play, to
2% with incentives.
Exactly, with incentives. After the incentives, he goes beyond his incentives. He's in Chikubo, in a small room, in a small shop. He's also operating. So at the end of the day, that means two monies are playing within the economy. The one that has a lot of advantage from a foreign country, and this one of Uganda, as for Andrew, who is a Ugandan, who has gotten the loan
with a lot of strings attached.
It's so funny. The other time, Bank of Uganda stated that people have taken out money from this country and all that, which is very true, because right now we have got a lot of virtual investments, like online and all that. And then people decide to wake up and then they invest their money abroad as they say, because there are those people with offshore accounts, and somebody with an offshore account, he has the advantage to play in whichever currency. You understand? Because his account is just fixed there, is multi-international. It can play in America, it can play in Germany. Exactly. So when you see things are not okay, he withdraws. Understand that? He withdraws, and then the money is played somewhere and all that. So for example, he has bought a treasury bond, and then he realizes not all that doing well, then he changes. And all that. But also the central bank should also not only look at those factors that are real and based on economics. There are those other factors that we don't really see that are dubious, whereby that one person wakes up and then is dodging, certain economic policies that are against him, the tax policies and all that. This person gets the money, he goes into on the foreign currency, he buys the foreign currency, he keeps his money at home. I understand that. Yes. As you may imagine, maybe he has taken it abroad, he's keeping it at home. And remember, you as Central Bank of Uganda, you don't have power over the dollar. Exactly. Because before, I remember during the time of rest in peace, Dr. Mutevere. What he would really do, he would go ahead and then phase out certain currencies. A certain type of a currency. He wakes up and say that if a 50,000 note of this type is within 6 months, I'm phasing it out. And you know what he was doing? He was trying to, probably has projected that the Andrews, the Kwebias, have kept this money somewhere. He's not seeing it. In his microscope, he's not seeing it. Where's this money? And then he's like, okay, now for the money to come out in circulation, I should really, I should phase this out. Exactly. It brings now catastrophe. Catastrophe. It's like, no, this note is not going to work, and now the new note is coming. Now that's where you see people running to buy land. Then keep the money. And you should remember, within that time, when Andrew Mutevere would really say that I'm phasing out this kind of note, this type of note and all that, you see people cry, weep within villages. But to say they bought our land, people buying square miles. But still, at the end of the day, money now would go into circulation, because at the end of the day, when money is redundant, there is no development. Because this money should change hands, and as it changes hands, it leaves a positive impact. Then now it has gone to Andrew has built a house, and now it has gone to a builder has made business, and then it has gone to the business, that's how it is. It should keep on, creating value. But at the end of the day, if someone hold this money somewhere, a few people hold this money at home, then it's also doom to the economy. And absolutely, they realize that you don't have control on a foreign currency. If you are saying that you are 50 note, you are 20,000 note of Uganda, 10,000 note, you will scare us and then say we are phasing out those types of notes and all that. Now you cannot have a control on the dollar, because The Central Bank of Uganda cannot wake up and say, this kind of a dollar with this future, we are phasing out of. So the tycoons, those that would really want to dodge taxes, they are not really paying the right taxes, evading what they've decided, buying dollars, keep the dollars in the house. I've got one example. I've got my friend that I've not speak on this television.
It's okay.
He's a fumigator. They get him around the other point where they sell these agricultural products in the container village. For him, he's a fumigator. He fumigates. Yeah. But you know that what they usually do, certain people come, they tell him, we are taking you somewhere, you're going to fumigate money.
Fumigate money.
Money, so that, you know, then, so that the money keeps in its fine form.
So somebody has kept money for so long.
Exactly, they blindfold him, they put him in a vehicle. They could be taking him to Kololo, they would drive him, blindfolding him, then they take him to Kono,
into other parts.
Exactly, other parts. And then he has a feeling maybe he's in Kabari.
So
then like he's now blind and blindfolded when he's in the room.
And how much is he walking away with that?
He's walking out away with millions of money. You are fumigating a room
millions of money.
Millions of money. Now let me tell you, a fumigator coming to fumigate your home, you will give him 200,000. But this person is fumigating money, and if it's given 10 million anyway, is that it? Anyway, isn't that good money? So that means we have evidence that people are keeping the foreign currency. So central bank should not think that the offline, you know, whatever investment whereby people are investing abroad is the only factor causing this. What they can probably do is probably put strong measures on how they manage the financial affairs of this country.
Very interesting. Now, before we get into the break, in just about 3 minutes, don't you think this is going to also help us in terms of, for the trader side, of importation, to reduce on the importation? Because it seems like we have been trying to, you know, to phase away with the dealing with the import bill, you know, and we focus on the locals, and the traders haven't been showing that much respect for locally manufactured products.
You see, at the end of the day, there is hoodwink, and I want to be very clear that people who are in the manufacturing point, one, the others do assembling, they don't manufacture. That's very true. And anyway, according to Ugandan law, whereby like if you're assembling, that they also call you a manufacturer.
Manufacturer.
So when you assemble,
but you see, industrialization has changed. You cannot produce. We don't have any country that produces everything 100%. So it's part of it will still fall manufacturing. I guess
it is subject to interpretation and all that. But at the end of the day, if you are assembling and then you've not even manufactured any ingredient on that particular commodity, it is very absurd. Because like if you really bring everything and then you assemble this suit here without buying the cotton from a farmer, you have not probably even bought maybe you know, some ingredients. Because like even the buttons on the
buttons,
they are coming from the horns of a cow, and you've not bought it from this country. You've just, you know, we brought everything here and then you assemble. Probably it is also absurd. So therefore, we should have, if we are assembling and calling it manufacturing, it should have some level whereby like at least within let it be 70% of your assembly.
Input.
Then also let us have some input, 30% of Ugandan, you know, local content and all that, but not absolutely everything. Anyway, okay, let's leave that side. Now that means there are those also who are saying that they are manufacturers and they are assembling 100% things coming from abroad. It's okay. At some point there is some kind of there is some kind of employment, and absolutely within assembling there are some people that are really coming and doing some kind of work and all that. Anyway, if you are assembling, what much work will you do? It's all about, you know,
just
fixing it. However, on the other side also, they are also lying. They are not giving proper statistics about the quantity and the quality of their products. Exactly.
The locals,
the manufacturers, some manufacturers, of them. The manufacturer will wake up and then convince President Museveni and the government. I tell him, you know, I have the capacity to produce for over 45 million Ugandans. When actually he cannot even produce 100 containers, you know, in 5 months. So that person there is a liar. And you know what the government will do? The government will come and put strings attached.
Yeah.
So much strings, put even a ban and put deterrent tax on an importer, a Ugandan importer, and trying probably to drive him to the other manufacturer who claimed to have enough production. At the end of the day, you miss there. Actually, he has nothing, or it's not even enough. If you make an order, I'm an importer, because I want to have continuity within the business. And then I come to you, Andrew, you are manufacturing maybe electronics, and this person who has been importing maybe 10 containers a month. And then I'm like, Andrew, give me 5 containers, at least within 1 month. And you're telling me I can give you 10 containers within a year. Is that business? Will I remain in business? That means absolutely they are also lying about your quantity. And also when it comes to quality, to their quality, you find that somebody is producing one type of t-shirt, maybe with certain kind of a few ingredients in it, and then he will deceive the government that for him is producing all types of t-shirts and all that. That's why we are going wrong. So at the end of the day, you as Andrew, who is importing some commodities, and Kenyans or other neighboring countries will come and buy from you, they will find that you are missing certain qualities. And you know what they'll do? They'll go to Kenya. They will go they will start going also to Dubai. Because with business at some point, it's all about keeping the secret where you buy your commodities. Now you'll be, because of creating some kind of scarcity and all that, they will start running away. And that's why you see the traders, for them they are saying, let our manufacturers speak to talk the reality of what they are, what they cannot. They should not put it on the menu, because when they put it on the menu, they will probably influence policy.
So the traders are misled.
The government is misled, because after the manufacturers have misled government puts,
and traders find out from their customers that actually what they got from this manufacturer.
Exactly. And of recent, I was on a team that visited these industrial parks, and I realized a lot of mistakes.
We shall start from there shortly after the break. Exactly 30 minutes. I'm still with Mr. Kweham Samuel. Let's get into this break real quick, and of course I'll be returning as we break these matters further. Stick around.
Smart 24, driving business.
Osmosis is coming. Osmosis, what's the money? When do you see him? Send him to Momo.
My bossy, can I borrow fuel? Biggie money, can I borrow renty? Manager, give me some caloni. Okay, what about 5K?
When you need a loan, you've got MTN Momo. Wesotinge. Use the Momo app or dial *165*5# for all quick loans. Choose from the different loan options from our partners and get one that works for you. Together, we're unstoppable.
Luxury redefined at Seasan Hotel as you indulge in the splendor of elegant living fit for the royalty that you are. Step into comfort, pampering and blissful customer-centric service as you select from our range of comfy, exquisite living quarters furnished to meet with your royal preference. Surrounded by scenic beauty, our tropical setting allows you to escape the glamorous ordeal of city life. Our ambient green gardens will guide you to a place of revitalizing rest. The 3-star restaurant caters to your palate, serving your choice menu ranging from exotic cuisines to local delicacies. Our chefs will serve you full course meals for a truly out of this world culinary experience. Our fully stocked bar to wait your prod, from renowned global brand whisks, brandies, gins, beers and wines to our locally celebrated beverages, you will not lack for any brewage. It's an all-new experience in the East at CSUN Hotel. So visit today at plot 15 to 19 Spire Road, Ginger, or contact us on +256 751 719 960 and +256 785 354 614 for reservations. CSUN Hotels, luxury redefined.
Cooking oil like no other makes your meal so sweet and scrumptious. The taste of Uganda, yeah, the taste of Uganda, the taste of Uganda.
Smart 24, driving business.
Five minutes to the top of the hour. You're watching the Smart Means Business. Amanju Barije with my guest this morning. Mr. Kwebiham Zamil is the spokesperson of CAFA. But of course, before we proceed, still to remind you, Smart 24 TV, you can find us on Twitter at Smart 24 and Smart 24 TV Official. That's on Facebook, where we can still follow us up on the different topics that we do post in there. And you can kindly participate to give your opinion in regards to the matters of the economy of this country. And for those with the decoders, channel 372, that's on DSTV, and channel 320, that's on GOTV. And yes, same applies to those with the gadgets. We have something for you from the Google Play Store. You simply go and type in a smart digital application. And when you have this application, you'll be able to stream Smart 24 TV, Smart FM, and NBS Radio at the same time. Same applies to live streaming via YouTube, Smart 24 TV Live. This is still across all parts of the country, all parts of the globe, all parts of the continent, and all parts of the region at the same time. And Smart 24.tv, that's our official website. You're a business researcher making some research business related. You're handling in a business project and you're looking for updated facts for your research. Well, simply visit Smart 24.tv. That's the home of that. And plot 42 Nile Avenue, that is where we're coming live from, where I am at in the studios. You can come and pay us a visit. Let's have discussions in relation to business, see how we can actually partner together, how we can help each other grow our businesses. Well, proceeding with that topic of discussion, Mr. Kwebiham Zamil, I'm so much into the interest of looking at the direction of, like when we're discussing the matter of the direction of investment in such a time, it zeroes down to the what kind of business model would be ideal for a trader in such a time, because you can't afford 30% and probably can't afford another loan to expand. But remember, there are constant expenses. You have to clear rent, you have to pay taxes, they're constant. Well, now let's try to fix it into that model of trading for a trader in such a time with probably throughout the entire year.
When we look at the business costs, business cost, and because like they must be put into consideration.
Yes.
So like you're walking into a bank and you want a loan and all that, you see, if you bring in this loan, actually, does it really fit in and you really have some benefit? At the end of the day, are you making profits that you can really also pay the loan itself with the interest? If really it doesn't really make sense at the end of the day, you must remain with your little you have, and then probably, you see, I've always told people relocating is not a problem.
Relocating.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. You live in the city,
exactly.
go to the outskirts.
Outskirts of Kampala and all that. I've seen people that have stuck themselves in the arcades of Kampala when actually they don't fit in there. And at the end of the day, they find themselves, so much fixed. And it a little bit goes into their psychological feeling of like, if I really leave, what will the public say and all that? Now you really come down for the sake of showbiz, like Neibank and Agambachi. No, look at yourself. Have a self-evaluation financially of like, do I really fit in and all that? Because like this, economic shock will swallow your money.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, they will shock it. They will swallow it. And then when it comes to landlord, arcade landlords, they don't want to know. And they are also having their own pressure. The arcade is operating on a loan. So like, and you are the one supposed to pay it. And then you also have your own issues and all that. You see the man misbehaving, unhuman, and you're like, oh, this landlord has no morals. Oh my God, and all that. He has also pressure. Only that, like tycoons, they will never come out and tell you what they go through. You just hear the following day, his building is on auction. It's in the news and all that. You're like, oh, I think the man was right and all that. Or some other people, they celebrate their failure. So what they do, they really leave no strings. They leave no gap for you to probably a little bit mess up with their financial rain. That even if you have rented for 20 years within the arcades and all that, you never be a friend
to the landlord, or to the owner of the building.
Exactly.
To the tycoon.
Exactly. You see, there is the being a good friend, and you are not harming my financial status.
Yes.
But there is this friends with benefits. And all that. Exactly. So like you be a friend with benefit, but again, co-benefiting at the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, if you're my tenant, then absolutely I have some roles to play that you enjoy your tenancy. Then you as also a tenant, you have a role to play that I enjoy my landlordship, as I would really say. I don't know. But at the end of the day, within this economic situation, whereby things are very expensive, starting with the best life, best needs, look at the beans. Whereby we have never had a record of where beans to 5,000, 6,000. It's really, so touching. I think it's good that Posho has gone down, maybe, which will also which will also give an advantage to those people in farming. But if you see that you are getting a loan, and the loan is likely to become cumbersome, take even your investment. Take your assets, that you hardly earned for years, decades, and all that, and it is sweeping it. Then you rather not go for it. Relocate. I want to assure you, if you go in Bloba, people are doing business.
Side,
and actually, exactly. If you're this kind of a person, you are in an arcade, you have a small kind of shelf. At the end of the day, it is very costly for you. You've run into the bank, and then you mortgage your house at home, which you got from the shelf, and then you brought things, and things are not making sense. Today, the Chinese are also selling the same commodity at a cheaper price, because they even retail. Then at the end of the day, project very well. Otherwise, for those that can manage, it's okay. Because everyone has his own trick in business. I want to assure you. Because I would be speaking like this, and other viewers are saying, what is that one talking? With me, I can walk in, I get 100 million. And like last year, I get 200 million. Yes, if you feel that you can fit in, it's absolutely okay. But in a situation whereby even the central bank, in a situation where the central bank sits 3 times to decide, like, should we really decide? And add on this 0.5 BP, then also think so much, like the way the central bank also start and thought, because it never wanted to increase, but it was like, no, less increase. Because at the end of the day, if you're buying $1, almost 4,000. Understand that? And then before then you are buying it at 3,700.
Yeah.
And now there is an increment close to almost to 300.
Exactly.
That's a very big percentage.
Very big.
Exactly. It almost wants to clock to 10. Yes.
Absolutely.
You understand? Yeah. Because if it is 4,000, then the 10% is 400. Am I wrong?
You're right.
Exactly. Yeah. So that means at the end of the day, check yourself so well. Check yourself so well. And if you are going to China, then probably look at your competitors, because your competitors now are manufacturers. For them, they are influencing the government. They sit with the government every other day,
and they got loans at
exactly
1%.
Exactly. Look at China. Look, China's the bank rate for the last 5 years. It has not gone beyond 3.9%.
Imagine.
Yes,
3.9% in the last 5 years.
In the last 5 years. Yeah.
5 years, right?
Yeah, 3.9. I understand that. For you are 10. I understand that. You're competing with this person at the end of the day. I understand that. Now that means, look at the Chinese, because now we're looking at the foreign investors as competitors again at the retail level. It's also
now
very
that's
bad.
a big issue. With the retail level, they're pushing out our local traders out of business. Now this brings me to also this point in life, because we understand how this trend is going to impact consumer mindset and behavior. And when consumer mindset and behavior makes a trend, that means even traders should adapt to the trend. So let's discuss it in that line.
Well, you see, consumer behavior absolutely will go with one. It goes with the status.
Status.
Exactly. And if you don't have status, or probably, the status will probably determine how you as a consumer behave towards a product.
Absolutely.
If you are from this, rich status of like some level of money, then probably you are likely to purchase, even you're going luxury. That's why you find the middle class, for them, they usually go for basic needs. Exactly. A little bit when they cross to luxury so much, then they are hit. You understand? Then the low class, probably they are survive. Now that means that is their status. Now in Uganda, when you look at our status as the economic status of our country as a whole, then probably the market is staggering. You understand? It does not have the purchasing power. That is really what? Exactly. Enough. So therefore, if you switch them to high prices, which are commanded by the bank rates, understand that, by the dollar increment and all that, then there is the likelihood of starving.
So expenditure is going to be cut.
Exactly. Expenditure. Absolutely. Yes, you cut. There is when even you cut the expenditure and you don't fit in.
Okay.
Exactly. There is when you cut the expenditure and basically you cannot survive. That's very true. Because somebody, and let me take a quick example.
Yes.
Somebody was buying matoke. Let me say is a salary earner of maybe 1 million. Is renting a house, a good house, because somebody getting 1 million in Uganda is also of some status, they say.
Because if there is an M somewhere.
Exactly.
It's not 1,000.
Is that even $300?
That's about $250.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I know what is happening. This person is renting a house of around
400.
400.
Yeah.
Now maybe 500. He wants to stay in Rubaga. It's a double room.
Yeah.
In fact, it's going to 600. It is going to 600. Now, at the end of the day, he was saying that before then, he was buying beans at 2,000 or 3,000. Yes. Now, the beans are
5,000, 6,000.
6,000.
Exactly.
It has doubled.
Yeah.
Understand that? Now, he's leaving home some money probably to buy rice, good rice. No, when you talk about good rice, that one does not qualify to eat good rice. He qualifies to eat some rice which is in the range of 5,000. It's not rice of 3,000. Where are you?
A quarter kilo.
A quarter kilo.
Yes.
He's having 5 children.
Okay, I'm just assuming it's not much of a family.
It's not much of the
from a singular perspective.
I want to assure you, we are Africans. It is really very hard. Very few people. Now I'm talking about a serious married man in Uganda.
Okay.
I understand that. I understand that. So like, who is contributing to the development of this country? Is educating children, the children that will become, important figures of this country. Is having a wife and all that. Is of status. For social status.
1 million command the social status for a family man.
Now,
in Uganda,
you want the teachers don't have children. Primary teachers, do they earn $1 million?
They don't earn it.
Exactly, but
They have some. They are females.
Exactly.
They have husbands.
No, do you know the rate of marriage breakdown in Uganda?
It's high.
Are you married?
I'm yet to.
Now, there are teachers who are probably diploma teachers who are graduating at 22 years, 23 years. I understand that, and at the end of the day, you find that you find that some of them, these ones who are married, they are starving.
They are starving.
They are starving. If they are getting less than $1 million, they are also starving. What about a policeman? So at the end of the day, situations are not doing well. And when I look at even parliamentarians, they're also struggling to survive. And then for us, we make an alarm that somebody has got 500 million. I'm very sorry to talk about it. And then it creates an alarm. But I want to assure you, this 500 million that people are talking about, or the 1 billion and all that, it is very small money if it is fit within the system. Somebody to maintain the status.
Maintain the status.
Very much so.
Absolutely right. But now, finally, I so much believe that increasing the bank rate to from 9.5 to 10%.
Yeah.
Uganda's inflation in most cases, I want us to agree for sure. It's not determined by demand. It's not demand pull inflation. It's mainly in line with the most especially prices of oil, fuel prices, determine a lot of these factors. So, despite the fact that so people are already broke due to the high prices of oil, which is determining the prices of goods and services. And again, the central bank is increasing this rate to this percentage. So, I mean, there is no. It's more like, okay, if people had the money purchasing all these goods and services in the economy, it would make sense to increase the bank rate.
But I want to show you.
Yeah.
For your information, the oil business in Uganda has brought more foreign currency in this country.
Okay.
And from the other point that we started
in line with the transportation costs from the border, from the Kenyan borders, all those costs.
That's absolutely.
Yes.
When today you talk about the oil business in Uganda.
That is definitely.
Exactly.
The people that have benefited from it.
I'm looking at the extraction.
Yes.
As we are planning to extract oil from Bunyoro, more dollars have come into this country. Understand that? And Uganda has decided to probably deal with the oil business and the national oil company. Understand that? Where we are having a case now in Kenya because the business community in the oil sector,
the middlemen,
they took the government of Kenya to block it, to give Ugandan government a license to purchase oil directly from the main suppliers from abroad and all that.
But there is a company that they had gotten which to act as a broker.
Yes, to act as a broker, but it has been, we are yet to hear the court's, decision. I understand that. Because the businessman in Kenya realized that if Uganda starts importing oil directly, the middlemen in Kenya are going to lose over $200 million to Uganda from the Ugandan market. Which is, so what they did, they had to come in. I understand that. That's why now, people are looking at, the government of Uganda is also looking at Tanzania, a little to convince the president of Tanzania so that we can have the other. So they are trying to solve a problem because we realized that the middlemen were also increasing oil. The rate was so high. Whereby, I'll give you an example because I was reading about petrol, which they would increase it 40%. I understand that? That is so high. So with that issue is not the only factor. Much as it is a factor, but there are also other factors. You see, in an economy which is very informal, like Uganda, where the government must snip out taxes from the informal sector, it becomes very hard to manage. It is in the mafia style. I understand that. Because somebody you expect to pay a tax of $1 billion, at the end of the day, you see him with a lot of structures, you see him with a lot of property, and he's only paying $2 million as income tax a year. I understand that. Then you are like, how did he acquire all this wealth? So that is the informal sector. That's why if we are to understand the dynamics of Uganda's economy, it should be probably be formalized. That's why even the tax board, you're saying it, that it's trying to formalize a receipt, blah blah blah, praise, so that the statistics are real. These statistics you see most of the time, they are fake. They on guesswork. What they do sampling from probably organized areas, but again the majority are not organized. You cannot sniff out data.
Absolutely, you're absolutely right on that. I think very interesting. You see, one of the key issues I've come to realize, some of the greatest expenses in formalization comes in line with the cost of compliance, licenses, renewal of licenses. I mean, when you talk about different investors that are in Uganda local, and they're talking about how they're operating, they tell you that they really find a huge challenge. And I think that's why the informal sector is not yet to be phased out yet. And what I'm thinking, because compliance costs are also not easy for them to manage. But anyway, I think all in all, as we sum this up in 2 minutes, advice to the traders, given the high interest rates that we're talking about currently in the market when making investment decisions.
Well, first of all, the central bank should really come out and find mechanism of managing the economic affairs of this country, mostly financial related and banking rates and all that, because at the end of the day, if we are to probably project, we as the business, my business community, if it is project wrongly all the time, it's really very bad. Because there are these people that are using this statistical data, and they probably feel that maybe this policy is likely to take some time. Then we get shocked that within a small given barely a year, then the bank rates are changing and all that. So at the end of the day, we shall lose direction. You understand that? But still, the business community should be on guard of like how to go about this. So that means if the situation is very fragile and very unpredictable, they should also always be, to try to manage the unpredictability of the policy, because the policymakers seem not to have a right answer. When I read that they sat 3 times, central bank sat 3 times, they sat 3 times to make a decision. That means it was a hard decision. They never intended, but because I think they felt that this is the right way to countercheck the dollar that was, diminishing the shilling so much. Then that they sat and decided, and then they had also to find a solution, a reason as to why. Because like if you increase the rate, then what was the cause of your action? Understand that the cause of action was that the offshore accounts, people investing their money elsewhere. And I understand that. To me, I would say yes, but also there are other factors. I understand that there are other factors of where money is being probably not not seen so well, not detected. I understand that. The informalities of the big tycoons of this country, I understand that, who they don't really sniff to see, how they really operate, and then they operate like in a mafia style. Then we shall never have proper projection. But for the small traders, I understand that they should always be on the guard. I understand that. Whereby like you are in an insurgency, and you know that the rebel is going to attack you anytime, because the other day he came after a week. So all the time,
you have to be on.
So the traders should be on the guard, and they should always find plan B. If you're having a shop in Kampala and all that, and you're seeing that the arcade is becoming hard, a little bit, put also a small shop somewhere in Nansana, a little bit, that you can have a fallback, than lose your house.
Okay.
Because like the bank will not accept to lose its money, and the banks, the commercial banks will not say that for us we shall keep our rates low, probably because we love you so much as our clients, when actually the central bank has it increased. I understand that. Yeah. So that is the way we should really exist. That we should exist as we are now, tiptoeing, anything that will really come in, we are ready for it.
It's been a pleasure to have you, Mr. Mzamil, once again today. And that brings us to the end of today's edition of Smart Men's Business. I've been Andrew Barija with my guest, Kwebi Mzamil, and of course breaking down the matters to do with the central bank rate and its implication when it comes to getting loans by the traders from the commercial banks. Because now we're speaking about 30% interest rate. That is quite very high. Well, till tomorrow, have yourselves a very wonderful day.